a few of those cultural barriers, which also take place when you deploy technology. And if the vendor is from another part of the world and you're from another part of the world, people still feel that gap could really, or see that gap as the stumbling block or the point of where things don't move forward. So yeah, language and freight forwarders, I feel also having been one for the last 12 years prior to this, always feel their industry is unique in their own country. So a localized solution is something, and something general and generic sometimes doesn't get adopted. So yeah, just to address those on the Italian market, the Spanish market, the tax regulations are all of a challenge. Yeah. So maybe the same with you, Martin, and in South Africa. Do you feel these things?
I don't know. Let me ask you a question, Akram, because you're a bit of a global guy. You see, I'm a bit of a localized person. What I'd like to understand. So there's an obvious continuum where you look and say, first world places like Europe, cost of labor is very high, automation, all these sort of tools should be early adopted. They should adopt it really quickly, and there should be a big drive towards it. The third world countries, labor costs are low. Places like South Africa, India, South America, you should have the adoption rate should be a lot lower. So I know from my experience, I don't think South Africa quite falls into that. I think we've got quite a lot of decent people wanting to adopt it. From a global point of view, Ikram, I mean, is that synopsis true, as I've stated it, or are you finding the third world countries are adopting these tools as quick as first world countries? Or is it predominantly the space of the first world countries?
Yeah, my reading of it is about people's priority list. For what is their priority on adoption. I guess what's happening in developing countries is bringing in sales is their priority rather than saving cost. I know that's a normal thing in the West as well, but for the West, that cost saving is much more considerable in terms of when you do save it, the ones and zeros on the bottom line bring in a bit better impact. So that is one of the areas on the priority side. So that makes a difference of making a decision on an automation. So if I had two things to invest in, one is an automation that saves cost of time of my operator, another one that can help to bring new business, I'll always incline towards going towards new business first. And again, it depends on the decision maker as well. If he's a finance person, he would see cost. If it's a salesperson on the top, we all come with that baggage sometimes, right? We are more sales oriented or more finance oriented. So that again influences the decision of which technology to choose. But particularly on data entry saving and time saving, we've seen it slow because people want to firstly as well get a high ROI on their investment on CargoWise itself, because today in a lot of companies that would be the highest spending application, and they would like to see that bringing in the ROI. So a lot of them probably don't have the matrices to measure that ROI. So investing even more on another technology might be something they're skeptical about. So if you have those KPIs of measuring your own CargoWise return first, makes things easier for saving time through CargoDoc as a second investment. But if you never had those KPIs and you always say it's expensive, you're never going to adopt new technologies as well. So in the end, you end up having a very expensive device without using all the functionality. And what's expensive is, for one person expensive, is another person it's cheap. So it's how much you use of that application or software. Even I like to give the example of a mobile. You get mobile phones which are $300-400. You get mobile phones which are $2,000. They do the same thing, but why does someone buy something other than it being fashionable or trendy? It's actually going to give the business better results if you look at the features and utilize them if you're going to spend more money. So I would say CargoWise falls in the premium category of applications because it has so much of functionality, and WiseTech tries to champion those functionalities as your USPs. Use them because if you have two systems and two of your competitors and your competitor is also on CargoWise, it's who's using it better that's going to get ahead of the market. Right, and get the next customer. So yeah, it's an investment, like you said as well, Martin, where once you have decided, the return of investment takes time as well, right? So like you said, you've invested in CargoWise for over 5-7 years now. and you're seeing the investment. Maybe you were more patient than everybody else, and you're seeing it now, which is most important is how you're performing on the day, right? Not how much you might perform too much in the future or in the past, because those things are irrelevant at that day, So today you're in a happy position, in a good position with good cargo, and yeah, things can change for the better or for the worse, but at least you're giving your best chance at it. So that's where we are seeing getting those thought processes in order, and deciding, making those decisions, sometimes having a consultant to run those ideas through, and just brainstorm gives clarity. So yeah, I think again these webinars is to try and brainstorm to give clarity rather than actually sell any product or anything. It's just a good brainstorm session, and then take back and really see what's your priority list. So I think when we decided to do this was to try and give that option. So we're trying to do once a month to be able to give back to the industry what we are seeing, and then let them decide what's best for them. So I don't know if I answered too much of your thing, but I've just tried to be a bit holistic in what we're seeing here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think these forums are really great. And it's nice to hear from other parts of the world, other people's experiences. I mean, we're all here to learn. I mean, the only way you get better is you learn and innovate, There's an interesting thing going on in Europe at the moment where they've got a serious shortage of operators, freight operators. So be it controllers, and places like Germany, the salaries are just jumping 20-30% in a non-inflationary environment. Those are significant cost increases, and it's becoming almost prohibitive. The model's starting to struggle. I mean, obviously, originally it always was a very high cost base. But yeah, there's some interesting stuff going on in other parts of the world. Their challenges are very much, and they talk directly to the need for automation. They talk directly to the need for a back office scale, all those great things that CargoWise can do and has the ability to do.